Welcome back, fight fans. We're back again for a bit of a shorter one this time, that's for sure. There's no fights this week, so we're just going to be taking it easy, chilling, talking about the fights last week. Maybe a little bit of thoughts here and there, as always. I can't help it. I just can't help myself. So I'm sure there's going to be some of that as well. So yeah. A bit of a weird one this past Saturday. I don't know, like, the last couple of cards have been a little weird. This one especially, though, it was just one of those days. I don't know what else to say. I mean, there were a lot of bizarre results with the refs getting involved, results with the judges getting involved, results with the universe getting involved with Fiziev and the main there. I mean, just an outright disaster all around the card. Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those times where it's like, it'll be nice to have a break. It'll be nice to have a break for a week. Yeah, I don't even know. This was the second worst week, of course, behind the week where Izzy lost. But yeah, absolutely brutal results. And not even, again, just not even in the betting itself, which I mean was pretty bad, but just bizarre results all the way across the card. Yeah. I don't even know. So we'll open up with the first fight. And honestly, I mean, our night was over right there. It really was. Vidal, Rendon making her debut. I mean, I thought that Vidal was of the ability, the capability that she would be able to pretty easily win this fight. And I kind of stand by the fact that skill wise, she should be able to win fights like that. Just, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what to say. I just said it was just a pretty rough showing from Vidal. I mean, it really was. I don't think Rendon did anything crazy. I don't think she really did anything all that impressive. I don't know. It was just like just barely staying active enough to win 2 out of the 3 rounds. Vidal not really being all that active. I thought she was also probably going to grapple a little bit more. I thought she was just going to do more. I don't know, just a little bit more in general. And if she would have done just a little bit more, that's it. She just needed to do a little bit more. She would have easily won 2 out of the 3 rounds. As it is, she lost in a split decision. To be honest, I didn't think it was deserved to be that close. I think honestly, it was pretty clear that Rendon won that, even though, again, I'm always pretty open about how I think the fights went. And yeah, I thought that was the first one of the night where it was like, I think we're going to be seeing some weird results tonight. And my God, was I right about that. Yeah, so pretty rough showing from Vidal. Looked pretty slow, landed a bit early, never really looked good. Never really looked good. I'm reading my notes here now, just not off the top of my head. I specifically wrote that, not looking good. Rendon looked great either, which is what I said. She wasn't really doing a whole lot, but did enough with basically 2 takedowns, a takedown in the second and a takedown in the third. And thanks to that, it was a split decision. Rendon walked away with the win and with all of our money. So that was fun. And I got to be honest, I don't know why I picked Vidal for the sniper pick, because that was the sniper pick was Vidal. I truly don't know why I went in that direction, because even as I was doing it, I was like, I can't really see Marina Rodriguez losing her fight, even though it was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Even though it was a massacre, it looked like a massacre at sometimes with all the blood. She had her moments. Karate Hottie had some moments for sure. But yeah, the whole time, I mean, even I said it last week, I just can't imagine Rodriguez losing that fight. And then what did I do? I picked Vidal, who hasn't really been tested all that much, against somebody who's undefeated and making their debut. That's just a big no-no, picking somebody against somebody making their debut, because we've seen that work out against people quite often. So I don't really know why I chose that. That was just a complete oversight. It didn't affect the parlays at all, let me tell you, because we were losing all those parlays all day long. That's for damn sure. We were not even close. But like I said, I gotta say, I don't know why I chose I put Rodriguez in the B slot. She clearly should have been in the A slot the whole time. I said that before. I said she probably deserved it, that there was no way she was gonna lose this fight. I don't know what to tell you. I fucked up. I should have definitely put Rodriguez in the A slot. And even I was thinking it the whole week. I was like, I don't know. I think I might have fucked up because I put the bets in on Wednesday, put the tweets out. I think it was Friday. Yeah. I knew I had a feeling. I didn't think I mean, I thought it was going to be closer, and I thought that Vidal was still going to win. Let me get that straight. I still thought she was going to win. But for the sniper picks, you always have to go with the ones where there is absolutely no way that they're losing. I think it had something to do with the odds too, because I was like, Vidal should really win this. The odds are lower than Rodriguez, so I'll just go this instead. Stupid. I truly do not know why I did that, other than, of course, the reasons I just said, which is, yeah, dumb. So that was bad. That was really bad. I mean, that really did kill the night immediately. We had no chance of making money after that. Yeah, so I put down Vidal finish. That was at plus 200. Felt good about that going into it. Felt terrible about it about 30 seconds into the fight when I realized that was never going to happen. So yeah, lost that one. And I mean, even if she would have gotten the decision win, we still would have lost that matchup anyway, with the only bet being Vidal finish, because I cut out the other bets thinking, okay, there's no profit on the over. I like the way the under's looking in this with Vidal finish. Just didn't work out. But I mean, obviously, losing the sniper pick like that, that's bad. That's a bad one to lose for sure. So already technically we were 6 units down, because it ended up being I got her at minus 225, 5 units. So I mean, let's be real. I didn't actually, that was pretty much the least amount I've put on a sniper pick this entire time, is 5 units. So if there was one that we were okay with losing, it was probably this one, but still brutal. And it really did look even worse just because of what happened the rest of the card, which were a lot of other losses, and mostly ones that were just outrageous, absolutely fucking outrageous. The Malkoon one was, I mean, what the fuck? We'll get into that soon, but that was a bit ridiculous. I mean, good God, the Ige one was like, okay. I mean, the main event was silly, even though that actually saved the night a little bit, was the main event. But yeah, just brutal all around. Anyway, moving on. We moved on to Mizuki and Goldie. I said I was really on the fence about this one, and I meant it. I was so close to picking Goldie. And I mean, now you see why, because that ended up being, was that not also a split decision? Now I can't remember. What do we got here? Oh, it was a unanimous decision, but I do remember it being like, okay, Goldie's having some good moments here. But thankfully, thankfully, I ended up going with Mizuki by decision, and that ended up being minus 125 when I got it, which gave us 1.8 units back. So we're 0.2 units down on that top half. So that doesn't include the sniper pick and the parlays there. 2 units down. So we're basically even at this point in that, so it wasn't, well, I was going to say, I wasn't feeling too bad about the night, but that's a lie. I mean, after you lose the first fight like that, and it's a sniper pick like that, it's going to be a bad night. Excuse me. So yeah, no. Moving on. Then we had Collier and uh Usman, and now you see what we were talking about last week about Usman being very not very reliable, I guess is a better way to put it. Not very reliable, and Collier being an absolute loose cannon. That is exactly what we saw. Oh, I should actually go into the fight with the Mizuki one here. Because I did, of course, have my notes. I did, I wrote notes this time. Probably because it wasn't as fun to watch, so I ended up writing notes instead. And we got the first round, I thought, with clinch damage. Goldie was on bottom for most of the second round, but may have actually saved the second round with the last half of it there. And then Inui looked good in 3, so Mizuki seemed to edge ahead with damage. Very, very close, though. So it really could have been a 29-28 either way, I was thinking. But ultimately, I did think that um, Mizuki did deserve to win the fight. But I told you, I was going to be close. Yeah. Ended up, the only bet I did was Mizuki decision. So like I said, that cashes in 1.8. We're 0.2 units down on the night so far. There you go. Moving on, Usman Collier. Like I said, that went exactly as I expected. I said Usman decision was probably the way it's going to be going because I don't think he's going to get the finish. I also thought Collier had an outside chance at getting a finish in there, and that is exactly what we saw because Usman was getting smacked around. And that is exactly why I will continue to say I really do not think he's going to go too far. I mean, if you're having a dogfight with Jake Collier and was it Junior Tafa? I mean, Junior Tafa is good, but it's really the grappling that saved him. I mean, you can't rely on that. You can't rely on chin and grappling at heavyweight when you get into even the top 25, top 20 conversation. You will get knocked out. That will happen. So I'm waiting on that. But I figured this one he was going to be able to edge out. Thankfully, he did. So I put the money down on Usman decision. That was at plus 130. So we got the profit on that, 2.3 units back. I balanced that out with the under just in case, of course, like I said, Jake Collier got a KO, or even if Usman got a KO in there as well. Had to balance it out with the under. But of course, because they were both plus money, we make profit on that one. 2.3 units back, zero 0.3 units of profit in the matchup. That actually brings us at a little bit of profit, but basically dead even for that for the top half bets there. The single bet. I don't even know what to call them. I just call them the top half because in my spreadsheet, in my Excel here, those are the bets on the top half of the page. That's why I call them that. I don't know. Moving on though. Oh yeah. And how did the fight go? I mean, Collier, I thought probably won the first. Landed quite a bit. I mean, lots of shots landed. Usman really just eating it, throwing out some decent combos, but still. Uh, Brutal eye poke at the start of the second round. Almost ended the fight, actually. That was on Collier. And Usman started to slowly kind of win after that. Cut him up a bit. And then got a couple of takedowns to solidify that in the third. I don't know why he didn't go for takedowns earlier. I don't really know. He wasn't really trying to grapple all that much, it seemed like. Don't know why he didn't do that earlier, but he got the win anyway. So what can we say? I mean, that being said, it was a pretty bad eye poke and seemed to affect Collier a decent amount. Was he going to win if he didn't get eye poked? Probably not, but I mean, you still don't want to see it. That's for sure. Excuse me. So yeah, I don't know. And I mean, really up until this point, again, I mean, were there really any bangers? Like, were we really getting any elite fights here? No, not really. To be honest, I actually thought the Contender Series this week was 10 times better than than the card at the Apex last week, that last Saturday. I will stand by that all day long. I mean, that was quite the Contender Series. If anybody managed to see that, Contender Series has really been on fire recently. But yeah, especially this week. Last week was great too, but this week was absolutely insane. We can maybe talk about that actually after this. That might be interesting. Um, but yeah, so basically dead even on the bets except for the sniper pick, of course. Moving on, that brings us to the fight that I was talking about before. Jacob Malkoun, Cody Brundage. Brundage did exactly what he does in every single other fight, which is just completely blow his gas tank in the first 2 minutes and then struggles from there. That's pretty much what happened. And he was about to lose in the first round there, and then we saw just a grade A acting class from Brundage to get a complete bullshit win out of that. Wow. What an absolute load of shit that was. I mean, let's see what I had here. Brundage had a good first minute of the fight. Again, as usual, always does. And then fell apart completely, threw out some crisp combo. Oh, whoops, that was the previous line there. Then fell apart. Dominant for Malkoun. And then he started to throw some illegal strikes. He says they're not illegal. I saw that statement. Yes, they were. They were definitely illegal. There's no question about that. They were definitely illegal. That being said, were they hard? No, not really. They even actually mentioned that on the broadcast, that it wasn't really that crazy. It was just blatantly foul. That's all. It was just obviously to the back of the head. I mean, what do you do with stuff like that? Because it's like, clearly it's illegal. You got to stand by that. But I mean, he was obviously going to win that fight within the next 30 seconds anyway. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. Or like, at least call it a no contest. To like, to give somebody a win, like an actual win, a TKO victory from disqualification for Brundage. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Like, I don't even have any other words for that. That is stupid. Like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, that would be like, I mean, think of it this way. That would be like, let's say we're talking about soccer or football, you know what I mean? Like, that would be like scoring a goal, like getting a goal to, you know what I mean? Like, it's like scoring a goal, getting the goal taken away. Like, okay, fair enough. I got the goal illegally. It was offside. The goal's offside, or it's a handball and it goes in. Like, okay, take the goal away. You know, that's all you got to do. Take the finish away. It wasn't a finish. Okay. And then you restart. You either just restart from there. Fair enough. He was I think everybody knows he was fine to fight. I think that's pretty fucking clear that they did not affect him that much that he couldn't fight. That's absurd. You know what I mean? Like, if he was fucked up, it was not from those 2 shots to the back of the head. It was probably from the 50 before that. The whole reason he's on the ground in the first place. That is probably what made him so fucked up. Like, you think? But anyway, that's that aside. That, like I said, that would be like taking the goal away in soccer, and then because the goal is illegal, you give the win to the other team. That's how psychotic that is. You know what I mean? That's how just stupid. That is how batshit stupid that is to do. It's like taking a goal away from a team and then just giving the other team the win and calling it a night. Like, are you fucking kidding me? This garbage computer. What the fuck? It's asking me if I want to do notifications. The whole goddamn screen is blocked up. I can't see shit. What the fuck? Now we're back. We're back. I absolutely cannot stand Windows computers because of garbage like this. And this is why I have problems week to week. It's because I'm using a Windows and like there's just nonsense 24/7. It is awful. Cannot stand it. Moving on. Anyway, back to the fight. That is like, but you see what I mean? Like that's exactly what it is. It's like you take away the goal and then you just give the win to the other team and then call it a night. That's it. Congrats. The other team got an offside. You win. Like that's exactly what this is. Like that is psychotic to give somebody a TKO win like that. A no contest? Sure. Sure. If he can't continue, which again we know is garbage, if he can't continue, we'll take it away. It's a no contest. There you go. That's fine. Or you keep it going if you know, and that's what was going to happen. We were going to keep it going. So fair play on that. But you give it a no contest. I mean, seriously, a TK that's absolutely psychotic. And then of course, I mean, again, then you would just get the bets back. I'm not even saying um like okay, we give Malkoon the win. Like I'm not even saying something crazy like that. You don't give somebody a win like that, obviously. But by that same token, you don't give the other person a win either. It should really just be a no contest. That's it. That is it. Especially if it's early in the fight. Because if it's later in the fight, you go to the scorecards and blah blah blah. It's the same thing as anything else. But yeah, to do that, I don't know. I don't know. It's just we need to fix this kind of stuff because that's just ridiculous to say that that's what happens in that scenario. So what happens in terms of the bets there? Well, I had Malkoon decision, so I don't think that was going to cash in anyway because he was clearly going to get a first or a second round TKO, ground and pound, maybe even a submission, but probably not because he has submission defense, so I didn't think that was going to happen. So KO would have made sense. Okay, fair enough. We would have lost that one anyway. Funny enough, though, the under 2.5, of course, does cash in because it did technically finish before the the fight was over. I think it cashed in anyway. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. That's right. Oh yeah, because it was a TKO win. So that actually did help us out in the long run, which again, that really shows you how much this bugs me that I actually did profit off of that matchup. But I'm just so upset by the fact that Brundage somehow gets a TKO win out of this and Malkoon gets a loss on his record for that. It's like you got to be fucking kidding me. So yeah, ridiculous. So 2 point. Oh yeah, under 2.5. I did balance it out like that. Plus 110. That's what I got it at. That means 2.1 units back. That means 0.1 units of profit. So we're still kind of basically even on the top half there. Excuse me. Yeah. Moving on. Moving on. We are now at Means and Fialio. And I told you I was a little worried about this. That I think said this anyway. That Fialio is kind of one of those guys. You don't really know actually how good he is because he's getting knocked out by these guys that are knockout guys. So that made sense. But if he's getting knocked out by all of them, it's like, you'd think you would learn to not be a lunatic and then you wouldn't get knocked out like that. You don't jump in like that and get knocked out. You would stop doing that after a while. He didn't do that, never did that. So that worried me a little bit, which is why he was lower on the parlay list there because of that. I didn't have huge faith in him. Didn't want to go Fialio or Means as the dog though, because I still thought that Fialio should be able to win a decision or maybe get a sub. Like I thought, okay, maybe Fialio gets a KO, maybe Fialho wins a decision and then we're fine. I thought it was going to be close, but I still figured Fialho should be able to win. But that's not what happened now. And again, another disaster right here, really. Wild exchanges for both guys, all fight. I thought Fialho was going to get finished in the first round, so that was pretty bad. And then I actually thought he almost got a KO in the second round. So again, it was really back and forth. It really was. Very exciting fight. Then Means almost got him again in this at the end of the second round. So really Means just turned it around in the second after losing the first half of that round. And I thought was pretty clearly up 2-0. And didn't matter in the end because we missed the over 2.5 by 1 minute. And this is what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we had a chance at getting the Fialho KO. We had a chance at getting the over 2.5. We even just had a chance at Fialho actually, no, we didn't have a chance at him winning a decision, but he almost got the KO. And we almost got the over, which would have been fine. Because like I said, I thought that's how Means was going to win. I think I said that last week, that if he was going to win, it'd be by decision. So I had the over. Yeah, we got swept on that matchup. So Fialho obviously didn't get the KO. That was at plus 100, which tells you how big of a favorite Fialho was, that the KO was plus 100. Was even money, essentially. So that doesn't cash in, and we had the over 2.5 to balance that out. Because like I said, figured if Means was going to win, it would be a decision. We were 1 minute away, 1 minute away from cashing that in, and we would have been okay. We would have actually made a little bit of profit there, because that was at plus 140. So we would have had 0.4 units of profit in that. Would have been, still basically even, actually up probably about a unit total, if that would have happened, and did not. So yeah, really bad luck. Really, really bad luck for us continues in that matchup. And what again? Was it a TKO? I think it was a TKO. Oh yeah, KO from knee and punches, yeah. But yeah, 1:10 into the third round. 1:20 more. We're laughing. We're getting the money. But nope, here we are again. Another loss. Moving on, it's Miles Johns and Dan Argueta. And this was another one. On paper, I really thought this was very, very close. And it was. I think really what happened today is we just lost all of the close fights. We lost all the splits. We lost all the... Excuse me. We lost all the splits. We lost all the ref things that happened. We lost the injury. Actually, no, we profited off of that injury pretty well. But yeah, not a good night. Not good. We just could not catch a break, except for, like I said, except for the main event. But I do think that Gamrot was doing pretty well anyway. But still looked like Fiziev was giving him a pretty tough fight. It was definitely really close. Anyway, Argueta, Johns. I went with Argueta by decision because I figured that if Johns was going to win, hold on here. Yeah, I figured that if Johns was going to win, it was going to be a KO. That's why I did that, because then I balanced it out with the under 2.5. So Argueta decision, that was plus 170. I felt pretty good about that, and it was a pretty close. I think it was a pretty close fight. We'll get into that obviously as I read my notes, but I think it was a close fight off the top of my head. And then I balanced it out with the under 2.5, of course, like I said. That was a plus 120. Yeah. And of course, just like the fight before that, neither one cashes in. Argueta was, on Johns' back for most of the opening round. So already I was like, okay, I think we're good. I think we're going to be getting an Argueta decision. which is what I was planning on anyway. So that was good. It was looking good. Oh no, oh never mind. That's still right. I thought I was on the reading the wrong line. He did get hit hard a couple of times though. That was Argetta, because like I said, if Johns was going to win, I thought it was going to be by KO, and that was why, because he was, and I stand by that, he was getting hit quite a bit and hit pretty hard too. And then Johns then opened him up. Ooh, opened well on top of Argetta in the second round. Got hit by a couple shots. Argetta then took the round from there. So it seemed like probably 1-1. And here, now I'm getting lost on here. Johns landed well in the round, probably doing enough to win 2 out of the 3. But like I said, it was very, very close. And there were a lot of them like that on this card, as I said. That we just didn't, we were on the wrong side of it each time. That's all. I don't even have much else to say about that. We were just on the wrong side each time that happened. So Johns wins the decision. We lose the under 2.5 and Argetta decision. Good God. Brutal. Moving on again. This was Jourdain and Ramos. I went with Jourdain by decision because I didn't think he was going to be able to get a finish, to be honest. I mean, I was wrong about that. But thankfully, balanced it out with the under 2.5, because I knew that if anybody was going to get finished, it was probably, well, actually, no. What was I going to say here? That's not what I was going to say. Jourdain just, yeah, I balanced it out with the under 2.5. Ramos has a lot of finishes, so figured if he was going to win, it would be by a finish, and figured if Jourdain was going to win, it was going to be by decision. That's why I split it the way I did. And that worked out very well, because Jourdain decision, I should say, was at 175. The under 2.5 was at plus 105. Plus 105. I mean, could you imagine if I would have taken the under 1.5? That would have helped. That would have helped us this card. Did not. I'm okay with that though, because I stand by the under 2.5 part of it. Anyway, that was at 105. And that brings us to 2.05 units on that matchup. So 0.05 units up. That's basically even again. We never really got a whole bunch of profit out of any of these matchups except for the main event, which we will get to, of course. But yeah, looked bad with Jourdain on his back the whole time. I was like, oh shit, okay, well, here's another loss coming. That's what I was thinking. I was like, well, we already lost half of this card. Why not lose the other half too? That's what I thought was going to happen. Thankfully, I don't know how he did it, but he did it. He got a submission from the bottom against Ramos. I was surprised. I really was. Again, wouldn't have been surprised if Jourdain won a decision, because I thought, okay, he's got the cardio, he's got the striking, he's got the skill, he's got the fight IQ to a certain extent to be able to win a decision. But I did not see that one coming, for him to win by a submission from the bottom, from the bottom. But yeah, worked out. Took in the guillotine. Next up was Brian Battle and Fletcher. And I did, like I said, I think I said this last time. Oh, no, actually, I did end up. Ooh, what did I say last time? I can't remember what I said, but I think I said it was going to be pretty close and that I was leaning towards taking the dog Fletcher close. Then when I watched the tape on it, I was like, no, I'm choosing Fletcher for sure. And I picked him on Tapology too. I was close. I mean, he was close for a while. He was definitely putting up a very good fight. He was at plus 162 when I took him. And I took the over 2.5 because I knew how durable both of them were. I was a little surprised that didn't cash in out of anything. Especially after what was happening early. I was like, oh, I made the right call on this one. Definitely over 2.5. Nothing crazy, honestly, from either side from the start. And then small moment for Fletcher, so I gave him the first. So like I said, I was feeling real good. I was like, okay, not only is it looking like this is going to be a decision like I thought, this is also looking like Fletcher is starting to win like I thought he would. And then it kind of just that was weird. There's a that was a loud honk outside. Um Yeah, then it just kinda went out the window for Fletcher there. I don't really know what happened to him there. Battled to edge it again in the second, got a takedown, and to be honest, it kind of looked like Fletcher gave up, really. Like, it was weird to watch. I was like, "What the fuck?" Weird choices from Fletcher. I didn't write down what he was doing that made me think that he was making weird choices, but I definitely remember thinking, this is weird to watch because he was not like this in the other fights, and he is a lot better than this. So yeah, very, very strange. And then, yeah, then it ended. It was what happened with that anyway? No, I didn't write down what happened with the end of that submission. Yeah, submission. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, like I said, it looked like he. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was getting out grappled on the ground, and it was like, okay, he's fine. Like, it looked like, okay, well, it looks like Fletcher's just giving up the round. That seemed like, actually, that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, he doesn't seem to have the cardio or want to use his cardio to the point where he is burning himself out in this second round. So it looked like he was just taking the round off. That's what I thought, which again, maybe that is why it looked like a weird strategy because he was taking the round off. So he fuck this round, whatever, it's fine. As long as I don't get finished, we're good. And then I'll come out in the third and win. That's what I thought was his strategy, and it actually could have been his strategy. I would not be surprised if he came out and said that after. But the submission defense just wasn't there. It was like you shouldn't even be getting caught and stuff like that. That's why, like I said, it was weird to watch because I 100% did not expect him to get finished like that because he is better than that for sure. So yeah, I don't know. That was just a weird one. Another weird one that we got royally screwed by him basically giving up. Yeah, so Fletcher does not cash in. The over does not cash in, and the over was at minus 105. So that actually was the plus money pick because the other one was like minus 135 or minus 125 or something. That would be the under. So yeah, brutal, brutal, brutal results there. Moving on again. Could it possibly get worse? Yes, it can because it did get worse. Rodriguez and Watterson. I was actually very worried about Rodriguez for parts of the fight because it actually seemed like the Karate Hottie was getting back a little bit. But for most of it, it was one-way traffic, lots and lots of damage. I was thinking actually that we could get to a decision because after the first round, it was like, okay, I think I think Watterson can hang on to the end here. Yeah, no, that wasn't happening. It was just after a while, it was like, okay, I think they're gonna stop this because this is a little uncomfortable to watch because she is getting absolutely demolished on the feet there. Lots of blood. Didn't really have any answers for anything really after a while. So wasn't surprised by the stoppage, wasn't mad about it. Except for the fact that I bet on the decision. And that was one where I did not balance it out because again, we haven't really seen Rodriguez get too many finishes recently, and we know how tough Watterson is. So I really just assumed this was going to be a decision for sure. But yeah, Rodriguez came in there with a point to prove, and she did that. She definitely did that. So that's another L. Rodriguez, by the way, Rodriguez's decision was minus 188. So that tells you how big of a favorite she was. And that also was the reason I did not go for the under as well. Because, like, if you do both, you're losing quite a bit of money at this point because if it is a decision, because minus 180, 188, I should say, even worse. That is not good. That is not a good one to balance it out on because you will lose money for sure in the long run like that. So yeah, that's why I did just Rodriguez decision. And like I said, I thought it was pretty safe. Not this time. Another one. Another, I would say, well, not unlucky, but didn't fully expect that. Then we had, oh my God, I can't even, I don't even know what to say about Bryce Mitchell on Saturday. I mean, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised by anything he did or said, but watching it out, and especially with somebody so like almost too nice in Ige, he's always like that. He's always so nice to the point where it's like you're maybe a little bit too nice to do some of this stuff, to be fighting even. Sometimes it's like, bro, you need to be a little meaner to be doing some of this stuff. Bless his heart. I mean, like, my God, Ige is an absolute angel. Cause I swear, if that was like, I mean, if that was most other people, I think we would have seen some bad bad things going on in that octagon after the fight like that, and even before. And yeah, that was weird. But again, I, I can't say that I'm shocked that Bryce Mitchell was saying and doing, carrying the Bible into the octagon, yelling and just screaming Jesus or whatever it was. I think that's what he said, or freedom. No, I think it was Jesus. Yeah. Doing all of that, and then after trying to do a live prayer on TV after you just wrestle fuck the shit out of him, is like, nah, bro. Like, leave Ige out of this. Like, let Ige go to the back and do his thing. Because, I mean, I actually even thought he had a chance of winning because I thought Ige was doing more damage, to be honest. I thought he won. I didn't write my notes here, but I do remember thinking that. I remember thinking, okay, first round, I think it was the first round. That was where Ige was like, okay, he won that one because that was where he got all the damage, and Bryce was getting hit all that hit like that. So I thought Ige. I think this was it. Again, I don't have my notes, so I'm trying to remember, but I distinctly remember the first round being like, okay, we have a very good chance at Ige winning this fight. I like where this is going. And then the second round, or even actually, I think even part of the first round, it was kind of like, oh, okay, he did get taken down. Like, oh, it was the second round because I think in the first round he managed to shut those down, which made me feel good because, like I said, I was like, okay, Ige's doing the damage and he's shutting down the takedowns. We got this. No, second round, I still think Ige did more damage. It was either the second or the third round that I thought that, which is why I thought Ige had a very good chance of winning on the scorecards because he did do more damage. Um, but the control time and the submission attempts, I see why Mitchell won for sure, at least one of those rounds. But I don't know. I thought Ige won 2 out of 3, so I was a little pissed. And what was this? What ended up? It was a unanimous. Excuse me. Was a unanimous, so they weren't convinced, but I was. I don't know. I mean, like, I at this point, I just don't know how to score anything. And you know what I mean? It's like I feel like I know how to score things, but it's just like, what are we scoring now? Like, if one guy clearly is doing the damage and the other guy's just holding on to him and just sitting there and just control time, like we've talked about this. If damage is the main criteria, Why are we still rewarding 3 minutes of control time if there's no ground and pound and no damage? Like, if there's no damage happening, why are we rewarding it? Because we still are, clearly, because there wasn't even a question from anybody, seemingly, that Mitchell won those two. And even in the other fights, some of the other fights this card, it's like, are we not doing damage anymore? Did we throw that out the window? Like, how are we scoring these fights? It makes no sense anymore. It really doesn't. It honestly just seems like they're kind of just justifying it for whoever they want to win. Like, oh, we want Bryce Mitchell to win, so we'll just say, yep, damage doesn't matter as much this time. We'll just say the control time matters more. That'd be like, I mean, I don't want to make this comparison, but I mean, like, it could be like if we see Islam and Charles or something, and Islam gets a whole shit ton of control time, gets like 3 minutes of control time every round or 4 minutes, but Charles is the one doing all the damage on the feet. Are we going to give the win to Islam? They probably are, but who's the one doing the damage? Sure as shit isn't Islam, is it? No, it's not. He's getting the control time. So how are we scoring that? Like, you know what I mean? It's just, what are we doing? What are we doing? And that actually, funny enough, Islam actually was one of the fights that was kind of like that. It was the Islam Volk fight. Volk's doing more damage. Islam isn't doing any damage on the ground there. He's just holding him. He like literally straight up holding him there. Wasn't looking for submissions. It wasn't doing damage. He literally held him down. That's it. He just held on to him like a bear hug, basically. So he couldn't get up and couldn't move. It's like, that's not damage. That's not winning a fight. That is holding somebody. That's if anything, that's a draw, because there's no damage. That if anything, that's just a tie. So it's like, I just don't understand this logic anymore that we're doing. And this one was one of those ones that bugged, like, we're rewarding Mitchell for control time. He's not doing damage. What are we do? Why is he winning this fight? I don't know. I'm just getting annoyed at this point with all this, the ref nonsense, the judge nonsense. Like, it's getting so irritating. It really, really is, especially when it affects the bets, especially then. But yeah, so again, nothing cashes in. Ige was at plus 175. He lost, supposedly. Under 2.5, 160 plus 162. That doesn't cash in, which I wasn't too surprised by that. I mean, let's be honest, they're both extremely durable guys, so I was not surprised by that. But yeah, brutal. I don't know what else to say. Again, over and over again. That's the theme of the night. Everything was absolutely fucking brutal. Absolutely fucking brutal for bets. And then we come to the main event, and could you have a more brutal main event? I mean, we've seen this how many times in the past 2 years? Like, I know there's at least a handful. Like, no joke now. There really is, I would say, I think there's 5 now. Imagine that. Like, let's count this through. You got Ortega with his shoulder thing. I mean, Yair can say what he wants, but that's fucking ridiculous. That was obviously just a complete fluke injury. Aspinall, that was fucked up. That was completely random. Rakic had that same thing, pretty much the same injury, actually. These are all main. I think Rakic was a main event as well. I could be wrong about that. But and then what are the other two? We had two more. Recently that were just like, the main event gets ruined by an injury like that. Oh, why am I blanking? I had Aspinall, Ortega, and anybody wanna? No, nobody's here. Okay, moving on then. But yeah, there's been that have just been completely fucked by injury. So this was another one of those where it's like, oh, that's unfortunate. Oh yeah, right. It was not Ige, Cater and Allen. That was another one. So Calvin Cater's knee gets blown out, and he just hobbles his way to getting knocked out in the second round. That's another brutal one. I mean, we don't even have to talk about fucking McGregor getting that injury. I mean, Jesus. But yeah, over and over. I don't know. It's so weird to see this keep happening. And it really is mostly in the main event. It is very strange to see. So yeah, another one. Another brutal one. It looked, I don't even, again, I didn't write notes on the last couple of fights, so I don't remember who was winning, but I remember it being very, very close. And I think I was even kind of thinking, like, I'm not really sure who won that. I don't really fully remember what happened, to be honest, in the first round. I think I was just so, even just watching the whole scenario play out with Mitchell and Ige, I think I was just, I didn't know what was going on at that point. It was like, this is crazy at this point. I don't even know. So yeah, I just stopped writing notes. But yeah, but in terms of the bets though, wow, slam dunk in the main event. We had Gamrot Gamrot, I mean, just straight up. He was at plus 130. That cashed in. So that's 2.3 units back. And we actually cashed in the other bet as well, which is the under 3.5. It worked out. We got it. So that was at plus 105. So that's 2+ money bets that cashed in there. 2.3 units for the first one and 0.05 units for the under 3.5. You add that together, that's 4.0 or 4.35 units. That is almost 2.5 units just on that one matchup. So that worked out very well. That saved us a little bit. But yeah, I don't know if you could tell by all of the losses that we took the rest of the card. We were in the red for sure. Not even close. It was very bad. And of course, unsurprisingly, we also lost all of the parlays, and that was not even close either. And would not have helped no matter what order I had that in, because we lost 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5. I think that is probably the worst I've ever done on these parlays. I know for sure it's the worst I've ever done on the parlays on the show. It might be the worst I've ever done with this system on the parlays, period. Because, yeah, 4 out of 5 picks wrong. That is not normal for me. Not normal at all. Yeah. So that's all the parlays lost. So that's, I only did 4 parlays though this time instead of 5. So it wasn't as, or actually I think I usually do 6 parlays. So thankfully we saved a unit by not doing 2 more 2 more parlays on top of that. But yeah, didn't help. Still negative 2.5 units on the parlays, obviously, because that is 0 out of 4. With the dollar one, of course, the triple play not cashing in. I mean, it was only B cashed in. That's Rodriguez. Vidal, that was A, which is stupid. That never should have been A. So she lost. Vidal lost. Argueta lost. Malcoon, absolute trash right there. And then Fialio lost as well. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. So yeah, no parlays. And we lost 11.4 on the top half, thanks to that sniper pick loss. And I did the math. If I would have picked Rodriguez, which is what I was originally planning on doing, I really did have that written down and everything. I had it set up and everything, and I switched it at the last second just because of odds, essentially. Fucking idiot. I'm an idiot. I definitely did not take my smart pills this week. That's for sure. Oh yeah, I did the math. Rodriguez was at minus 350. So I would have put 7 units in. We know that based on my history of doubling up. I know I would have put 7 units down, which is a lot. I know, but that is what I do. I would have put the 7 units down. That would have given us 2 units of profit, because that's what I go for, is 2 units of profit on those. So that's what we would have had. We would have had 9 So, I mean, if you do the math, we would have been, well, that would have saved us 7 units essentially because we went down 5 units because of a sniper pick loss. So we would have been up 2 units. That is a 7-unit swing. So now you can kind of see that's why we were at -11, because if you take out the 7, if you put in 7 higher, that's what we would have had it would have been Rodriguez instead. And instead of -11.5, we would have been at -4.5, which again tells you obviously how bad all of the other bets ended up being, that we were -4.5 units outside of the sniper pick. So the sniper pick aside, we were already negative almost 5 units. So yeah, just an all around awful week. Awful. And then of course you add in the 2.5 from the parlays. That just makes it worse, which brings us to -13.9. We'll call it -14 just to really shove the knife in my heart, you know? Oh, so yeah, brutal, absolutely brutal week on the bets. I'm glad there's a week off and there's no bets this week, so I feel a little bit better about myself. Yeah, that is it for that card, and thank fuck for that. I hope I don't want to think about that card ever again because that was just bad from start to finish. Watching it, betting on it, every single part of it was like, this was a bad card. This was just a bad card. I don't know what else to say. It was just no part of that card was a good time. And we will leave that in the dust. Next week, it will be who is next week? Oh yeah, I think that's the Green, Bobby Green and Grant Dawson. I'm that might even be the sniper pick, honestly, is Grant Dawson. I don't really see how it's possible for Green to win this. I mean, he's barely been edging his wins as it is. Not a grappler at all. We've seen that over and over again. And Dawson is an extremely talented grappler and has one hell of a chin. So, little preview there. That is, I don't know if that's going to be the sniper pick, but I guarantee you that will be my pick for the main event, is probably a Dawson decision. He might get a submission though, so probably balance it out with the under 3.5 or under 4.5 or some shit like that. But that's next week, folks. That is next week. I don't know if there's any other good fights on that card. I don't think so, though. I think that was one of the worst looking cards for a while, or at least, for the past, since we had our break the first time. That's probably one of the worst looking cards. And the one after that doesn't look all that great either. So yeah, we're probably in for a rough road until the pay-per-view in terms of viewing. Hopefully, we can turn it around in the betting aspect of it for the next 2 cards, so we can be right on the game on our game for the pay-per-view. And yeah, hopefully we can turn it around there and get some good money going. I can't fucking believe I lost my sniper pick on only the second sniper pick I've ever lost in the UFC, and it just had to be one of the 2 that I posted on on Twitter and Instagram. Wow. What the fuck? So now instead of me being like, I honestly don't even know what the grand total is, but it is like 15-2 or so. It's like it's definitely over 10 wins and only 2 losses. So 1-1 doesn't sound great. that's not that's not a great look after you go 14-0 and then lose 2 out of 3. That is not good. That is not what you want to do. So hopefully I can win the next 15. Just go out the rest of the year and not lose a single sniper pick. I mean, I know I'm capable. I've done it before. So yeah, hopefully we can get that going. No stupid mistakes like picking Vidal. That was an idiotic mistake. No, I knew I should have gone Rodriguez with that. I that will haunt me. That loss will haunt me. I don't even feel bad about the Izzy one. I really don't. Um, anybody would. I mean, everybody made that mistake, so I don't feel bad about that one at all. I do feel stupid about the Vidal one. That was a straight up error on my part, a preventable error, very preventable, because like I said, I had Rodriguez and switched it like a moron. But I digress. That's it for me this week. It's a short one. We don't have our good friend R&R here today, so nobody to talk to today. So we'll just call it a night. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope the bets work out better next time. And I'm glad we have a break now. And of course, next week is going to be another shorter show as well, because we'll just be talking about the bets for next week. Looking forward to it. Hopefully, I can get a lot of work done in the meantime. Maybe work on some social media stuff. I don't know. Definitely be working a lot on the video game stuff, making a little progress here and there. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. These endings are always awkward. I don't know. I should really just, this is the part that I should write a script for. I really should. I used to be really good at the outros because I did have a script that I would read off of. And now I'm awful at the outros. I'm good at everything else without the script, but the outros, my goodness. Maybe it's because I don't like to say goodbye. But I will right now. Goodbye. Thanks for watching, everybody. Area 51 has all the other sports for you. I've got the MMA stuff for you right here. If you want to see the picks and parlays, the main ones, those are all on Instagram and Twitter. Those are my final picks, so they don't change after those ones. Yeah. Can't wait to have a nice week off and get back into it next week. And I hope that next card is better too. I hope it's as good as the Contender Series, because like I said, the Contender Series was banging this week. So yeah, they're really doing well with that show this season. Anyway, that's enough rambling. Let's get on with it. Thanks for watching. I will, whoopsie daisy, I right clicked instead of left. I will see you next time.